2026, could that be the year of the next global financial crash? You know, it's a question that's moving out of the shadows and into mainstream economic debates. So let's dive in and look at the signals that have so many experts zeroing in on that specific year. So, why 2026? I mean, it's not like they just pulled a date out of a hat, right? There's a specific set of warnings and patterns all starting to line up, causing analysts to circle 2026 on their calendars. The real question is why this one year keeps popping up, again and again. And you're already hearing the whispers. Well, more like loud conversations, really. In financial circles, they aren't just talking about a crisis, they're talking about the financial crisis of 2026. It's becoming a specific thing, a scenario they're taking very, very seriously. And then you've got guys like Fred Harrison. Now, if that name rings a bell, it should. He's the economist who famously called the 2008 crash. And his warning this time, it's chilling. He's saying this isn't just another downturn. We're talking about something bigger, a global event that could touch literally everything. And look, this isn't some fringe idea. This concern is being echoed at the absolute highest levels. At the Global Risk Forum in Davos, the mood was, well, let's just say, tense. The big takeaway was that the world is on edge, the old playbook is out the window, and all of this is setting the stage for what some are calling a perfect storm. All right, so let's break the storm down. What are the storm clouds gathering on the horizon? The first one, and maybe the most dangerous, is the very real threat of major conflict. Now, this isn't just guesswork. We're talking about the Global Risk Report. That's a survey of 1,300 experts from around the world. And what's at the top of their list of short-term threats? Yep, armed conflict between countries. It's a clear and present danger. And what's so telling is the context here. These discussions in Davos, they keep coming back to one central weakness. Our diplomatic safety nets are fraying. The tools we've always used to stop conflicts before they start, they're just not working like they used to. And when diplomacy breaks down, the chances of a catastrophic mistake go way, way up. So let's play this out. What does a major war actually do to the economy? Imagine a major conflict kicks off in the Middle East. Instantly, you'd get a massive oil shock. Gas prices would go through the roof, everywhere. Supply chains? Snapped. Store shelves? Empty. The stock market would go into a free fall, and the cost of basic things, like food, it would skyrocket. It's like a domino effect of disaster, all triggered by one single spark. Okay, so that's the first storm cloud. But a geopolitical shock is one thing. What makes it so much more dangerous is when it hits an economy that's already got cracks in the foundation. And right at the heart of this is a really interesting idea called the 18-year property cycle. It's exactly what it sounds like. Think of the economy as having a predictable rhythm, a heartbeat. The theory goes that for about 14 years, property and the economy boom. And then for a few years, they bust. And guess who used this to predict the 2008 crash? Yep, our friend Fred Harrison. And according to his clockwork cycle, the next big bust is due, you guessed it, right around 2026. But here's the real kicker from Harrison. He's saying this won't be a 2008 rerun. No, he's arguing that this time it's different because the cycle is global, it's synchronized, which means the fallout could be way, way worse. And the wider economic picture kind of backs this up. The World Bank is forecasting global growth to slow down to just 2.6% in 2026. I mean, that is a paper-thin safety net for the world economy. You can see the trend right here. We're not exactly roaring into this risky period with a strong economy, are we? Nope. We're limping in. There's just not a lot of momentum to absorb a big hit. And then you throw debt on top of it. Oh, the debt. In developing countries, government debt is almost 70% of their entire economic output. That's the highest it's been in 50 years. And what that really means is their hands are tied. They have very little room to maneuver if a crisis hits. Even the markets are getting jittery. The World Bank talks about stretched valuations, which is just a fancy way of saying everything looks way too expensive and ready to pop. It's a huge red flag that the system is already strained, and that's before anything bad has even happened. Okay, so we have geopolitical tension and a shaky economy. Now let's add the third storm cloud, the true wild card. The one thing that's never been a factor in any crash before. AI. And AI really is a double-edged sword. The World Bank puts it perfectly. On one side, it could create a massive boom, making us all more productive and boosting the economy. Awesome, right? But on the other side, all of this hype might just be inflating a giant market bubble. And if that bubble pops, well, the fallout could be huge. And it's not just an economic thing. The Global Risk Report also flags AI as a major technological risk. So think about that. You have the world's top economic thinkers and the world's top risk experts, and they're both pointing at AI and saying, this is powerful, but we have no idea how it's going to play out. So let's put it all together. What happens when you have geopolitical storms, economic storms, and technological storms all converging on the same point at the same time? You get the recipe for a perfect storm. Let's walk through how this could unfold step by step. First, you get the spark, a war, a major conflict, something that disrupts trade and energy. Second, that spark lands on a pile of fuel, an economy already drowning in debt and barely growing. Third, you add the wild card. The AI bubble pops, and all that market confidence just vanishes. And finally, boom. The combined pressure triggers a financial explosion, with each crisis making the others worse. And this is the single most important thing to understand. In 2008, the crisis started in one spot and then spread around the world like a virus. What people are worried about for 2026 is totally different. It's not a contagion. It's a synchronized explosion. Multiple, huge crises happening everywhere, all at the same time. Which leaves us with one final, really unsettling question. In 2008, when the banks collapsed, governments bailed them out. But if the next crisis is so big that the governments themselves are the ones who are broke and broken, who bails them out?